My 28M girlfriend, 26F, wants an open relationship, but only for her. I'm losing my mind. Hey Reddit, I really don't know where else to turn. I'm in a relationship that's been spiraling for months, and I'm at my absolute wit's end. I need some outside perspective because I feel like I'm going crazy. My girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, and I have been together for almost 3 years. Things were amazing at the start. We clicked instantly, shared the same sense of humor, had similar goals, and just genuinely enjoyed each other's company. We moved in together about 1.5 years ago, and for a while it was perfect. We had our routines, our inside jokes, and a comfortable, loving relationship. Then, about 6 months ago, things started to change. Sarah started spending more time out with her friends, which I didn't mind at first. Everyone needs their own space and social life, but it gradually became more frequent, and she'd come home late, sometimes really late. She'd be vague about where she'd been and who she was with. I tried to talk to her about it, gently, just expressing that I missed spending time with her. She brushed it off, saying I was being clingy and that I needed to trust her. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but my gut was telling me something was off. Then came the bombshell. One night, after she came home particularly late and smelling faintly of someone else's cologne, she sat me down and told me she wanted to talk. She said she'd been doing a lot of thinking and realized she wanted an open relationship. My initial reaction was shock, then anger. I asked her if she was seeing someone else, and she said it wasn't about that. It was about her needing freedom and exploring her sexuality. She said she felt stifled in our relationship and wanted to experience other people without losing me. I told her I wasn't comfortable with that. I'm monogamous, and the idea of her being with other people made me sick to my stomach. She got defensive, saying I was being controlling and that I didn't trust her. Here's where it gets really messed up. She then said that the open relationship was only for her. I wasn't allowed to see other people. It was a one-way street. She claimed it was about her needing to find herself, and that if I truly loved her, I'd understand. I was floored. I told her that was completely unfair and selfish. She countered by saying that if I loved her, I'd trust her and let her do what she needed to do. She even tried to guilt-trip me, saying I was holding her back from her personal growth. We've had this argument multiple times since then. She's adamant that this is what she wants, and I'm just lost. I love her, but I can't accept this. It feels like she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. She wants the security and comfort of our relationship, while also having the freedom to sleep with other people. I've tried talking to her rationally, explaining how this is a huge breach of trust and how it makes me feel completely disrespected. She just dismisses my feelings, saying I'm being insecure and that I need to grow up. I've even tried suggesting couples counseling, but she refuses. She says there's nothing wrong with her, and I'm the one with the problem. I've started to feel isolated. I don't know who to talk to about this. I haven't told my friends or family because I'm ashamed and embarrassed. I'm starting to doubt myself. Am I being unreasonable? Am I being controlling? Is it really so wrong for me to want a monogamous relationship? I'm so confused and hurt. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare. I wake up every morning dreading the day, knowing I'll have to deal with this again. I've lost my appetite, I can't sleep properly, and I'm constantly anxious. I've started to notice other changes in her behavior. She's become more secretive with her phone. She's always on it, and she's constantly texting. She's also started dressing differently, wearing clothes that are more revealing than she used to. I've even caught her in lies. Small lies, like saying she was at the grocery store when she was actually at a bar. It's like she's living a double life. I've tried to give her space, hoping she'd come to her senses, but it's only made things worse. She's become more distant and emotionally unavailable. It's like she's already checked out of the relationship. I'm at a breaking point. I don't know how much longer I can take this. I feel like I'm being emotionally manipulated and gaslighted. I've been thinking about breaking up, but the thought of losing her is unbearable. We've built a life together, and I still love her, but I can't live like this. It's destroying me. I need advice, Reddit. What should I do? Am I being unreasonable? Is there any way to salvage this relationship? Or am I just wasting my time? TLDR. My girlfriend wants an open relationship, but only for herself. I'm not allowed to see other people. She's emotionally distant and secretive, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know what to do. Update 1. Wow. I'm genuinely taken aback by the sheer volume of responses. Thank you everyone for taking the time to read and offer your perspectives. It's been a whirlwind of emotions reading through your comments, and it's honestly helped me feel a little less like I'm floating in a void. Several of you pointed out the glaring red flag of Sarah's insistence on a one-sided open relationship. You're right, it's completely illogical and reeks of entitlement. I've been so caught up in trying to salvage things that I've lost sight of how fundamentally unfair this is. Many of you asked if I've directly asked her if she's already involved with someone else. I did, Multiple times. The first time, she gave me that vague, dismissive answer. That's not the point. The point is about my freedom. I tried to press her, to get a straight answer, but she became defensive. She accused me of being invasive and said, "Why are you so obsessed with that? Can't you just trust me?" That's her go-to phrase now. Can't you just trust me? It's like a shield she hides behind to avoid accountability. The other times I asked, she either changed the subject or gave me a non-answer, like, "It's complicated," or "It's not that simple." It's like pulling teeth trying to get anything concrete out of her. A lot of you suggested I look through her phone. I get the logic. You're saying I need to gather evidence to know for sure what's going on, but I'm incredibly conflicted about it. I've always valued privacy in our relationship. I've never snooped before, and the idea of doing it now feels like a huge betrayal. It feels like I'd be stooping to her level. However, the constant suspicion and uncertainty are eating me alive. I'm starting to feel like I have no choice. The mental toll of not knowing is becoming unbearable. I'm afraid of what I might find, but I'm also terrified of continuing to live in this state of limbo. You've also asked about her friends. She's been spending a lot of time with a new group of people she met through her recent hobbies. She's taken up rock climbing, which is where she met this friend who she's been talking about a lot. She has also started going to a new bar with a group of friends she met there. I've tried to be supportive, genuinely. I've encouraged her to pursue her interests, but she's kept me at arm's length. She rarely invites me to join her, and when I ask about her new friends, she's vague. It's not that I'm jealous or possessive. I just feel like I'm being deliberately excluded from a significant part of her life. It's like she's building a separate world, one that I'm not a part of. I've noticed a significant shift in her communication. She's become more distant, more emotionally unavailable. It's like she's physically present, but her mind is miles away. She's always on her phone, texting or scrolling. When I try to talk to her, she's distracted or dismissive. We used to have long conversations about everything and nothing. Now it's like pulling teeth to get her to engage in a simple conversation. The intimacy, the connection we once had, is gone. I'm starting to feel incredibly isolated. I haven't told my friends or family because I'm ashamed. I don't want them to judge her, or me. I feel like I've failed, like I've let them down. I'm starting to doubt my own judgment. Am I being paranoid? Am I overreacting? Maybe I am too clingy. Maybe I am controlling. But something inside me screams that this is wrong. I'm desperate for answers. I'm desperate to understand what's happening. I'm desperate to save our relationship. But I'm also starting to realize that maybe it's already too late. I'm so confused. I love her, but I can't accept this. I feel like I'm being manipulated and gaslighted. I'm losing my sense of reality. I'm hoping that some of you have been through similar situations and can offer some guidance. I need to know if I'm alone in this, or if others have faced this kind of emotional turmoil. I need to know if there's any hope of salvaging this relationship, or if I'm just clinging to a dying ember. I'm going to try to take some of your advice and have another conversation with Sarah, a calm, rational one, but I'm not optimistic. I feel like I'm running out of options. Update 2. Following a lot of the advice you gave, I tried to have another calm, rational conversation with Sarah. I even wrote down some bullet points beforehand, trying to organize my thoughts and present them clearly. I wanted to approach this with as much maturity and level-headedness as possible. I started by telling her how much I love her. I emphasized that my feelings weren't about control or insecurity, but about deep hurt and confusion. I explained how her insistence on a one-sided open relationship felt like a betrayal of trust and a complete disregard for my emotional well-being. I told her I missed the closeness we used to share, the intimacy, the connection. I told her I felt like she was pulling away and that I was losing her. I asked her to consider my feelings, to be honest with me, and to try to see things from my perspective. Her response was disheartening, to say the least. She immediately dismissed my concerns, saying I was being dramatic and that I needed to chill out. She accused me of making a mountain out of a molehill and said I was overreacting. She said, "You're making this way bigger than it needs to be. It's not a big deal. You're just being insecure." I tried to explain that it was a big deal to me, that it was affecting my mental health and my ability to function. She just rolled her eyes and said, "You need to grow up." It was like talking to a brick wall. She wasn't listening. She wasn't even trying to understand. She was just dismissing my feelings as invalid. I told her that I couldn't accept her terms for an open relationship. I said, "Sarah, I can't live like this. It's destroying me. If you continue to insist on this, I'm going to have to end the relationship." She didn't seem to take me seriously. She scoffed and said, "You won't leave. You love me too much." That comment hit me like a ton of bricks. It was a cold, calculated statement, devoid of any empathy or concern for my feelings. It made me realize how much she's taking me for granted. She knows I love her, and she's using that against me. It felt like she was saying, I know you'll put up with anything, so I'm going to do whatever I want. The more I think about it, the more I realize how manipulative she's been. She's been gaslighting me, making me doubt my own sanity. She's been minimizing my feelings, making me feel like I'm the one with the problem. She's been using my love for her as a weapon. I'm starting to feel like I'm trapped in a toxic cycle. I love her, but I can't stay with someone who treats me like this. I feel like I'm losing myself. I'm starting to understand the comments about her wanting to have her cake and eat it too. She wants the security and comfort of our relationship, the emotional support, the financial stability, while also having the freedom to sleep with other people. It's incredibly selfish. I'm feeling a deep sense of betrayal. I've always been loyal and faithful to her. I've always supported her and tried to be a good partner, and this is how she repays me. I'm starting to feel hopeless. I don't know if there's any way to salvage this relationship. I feel like I've exhausted all my options. I'm still torn between wanting to cling to the hope that things can go back to how they were, and the realization that I need to walk away. The thought of leaving is terrifying, but the thought of staying is even more unbearable. I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my grip on reality. I'm constantly anxious, constantly on edge. I'm afraid of what the future holds. I'm reaching out to you all again because I'm desperate for some clarity. I need to know if I'm making the right decision. I need to know if there's any hope left. Update 3. After days of agonizing internal debate, I finally made the decision. I looked through her phone. I know many of you advised me to, and while it felt like a massive violation of privacy, the constant uncertainty was killing me. I needed to know the truth. No matter how painful it might be, it wasn't difficult to find. The evidence was there, clear as day. Text messages, photos, even voice notes. She had been having an affair with a guy she met at the rock climbing gym. The messages were explicit, filled with details I didn't want to know. They were filled with the kind of intimacy she hasn't shown me for months. The wave of emotions that washed over me was intense: shock, disbelief, anger, and a deep, gut-wrenching sadness. It was like a physical blow. I felt sick to my stomach. I gathered the screenshots and confronted her as soon as she got home. I laid them out on the table in front of her. She didn't deny anything. There was no point. The evidence was undeniable. She looked at me, her expression a mix of guilt and defiance. She said, "I was going to tell you." When? I asked, my voice trembling. When you were ready? When you were done having your fun? She didn't answer. She tried to explain, or rather justify her actions. "It's not that I don't love you," she said. "It's just, I needed this. I needed to explore this part of myself." While lying to me, while making me feel like I'm going crazy, I retorted. While destroying our relationship, she looked down, avoiding my gaze. "I'm sorry you found out this way," she said. "That's it?" I asked, incredulous. "You're sorry I found out this way? You're not sorry for betraying me? For lying to me for months?" She didn't apologize for her actions. She just repeated that she needed to explore and that she still loved me. But things were complicated. Complicated? I repeated. "You've been sleeping with someone else, Sarah. That's not complicated. That's betrayal." I told her it was over. I couldn't stay with someone who had so completely disregarded my feelings, who had lied to me so blatantly. I told her I needed her to leave. She looked shocked, as if she hadn't really believed I would go through with it. She tried to reason with me, to convince me to stay. She said we could work through this, that we could go to therapy. "There's nothing to work through," I said. "You broke my trust. You shattered our relationship. It's over." She finally seemed to realize I was serious. She packed a bag and left. The apartment felt empty, eerily quiet. The immediate aftermath was a blur. I felt numb, disoriented. I couldn't believe what had happened. I couldn't believe she had done this. I spent the night pacing, replaying the conversations, the arguments, the lies. I felt a mix of anger, sadness, and a strange sense of relief. Relief that I finally knew the truth, that I wasn't going crazy. I called a friend, who came over immediately. He listened, offered comfort, and helped me pack a bag. I couldn't stay in the apartment. It was too filled with memories, too painful. I'm staying at his place for now. I'm trying to process everything. but it's difficult. I feel like I'm in a daze. I've started to realize the extent of the emotional manipulation. She had me questioning my own sanity, doubting my own feelings. She made me feel like I was the one with the problem. I'm angry that I allowed myself to be treated this way. I'm angry that I believed her lies. I'm angry that I wasted so much time and energy on someone who didn't respect me, but I'm also starting to feel a sense of empowerment. I'm realizing that I deserve better. I deserve to be with someone who values my feelings, who respects my boundaries, who is honest and faithful. I know the road ahead will be difficult. Healing from this will take time, but I'm determined to move on. I'm determined to rebuild my life. I'm reaching out to you all again for support. I'm still reeling from the shock, and I need to hear that I'm not alone. I need to hear that I'll be okay. Update 4. Moving out was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Walking out of that apartment, the place we built together, felt like ripping a part of myself away. Everything in that space held a memory, a reminder of what we had or what I thought we had. My friend's place has become a temporary sanctuary. He's been an absolute rock, offering a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, and a safe space to just exist without judgment. I don't know what I would have done without him. The emotional roller coaster has been intense. One minute, I'm filled with a burning rage, replaying the lies and betrayals in my head. The next, I'm overcome with a wave of sadness, mourning the loss of the relationship I thought I had. Then there are moments of numbness, where I feel completely detached from everything. Sleep has been elusive. I wake up in the middle of the night, my mind racing, replaying conversations and scenarios. I'm having trouble eating, and when I do, it feels like I'm forcing it down. The hardest part is the sudden shift from having someone to share my life with to being completely alone. The silence in the apartment is deafening. I miss the small things, the morning coffee we used to share, the random conversations, the comfortable silence we had when watching TV. I finally started talking to my friends and family about what happened. It was incredibly difficult to admit what had happened, to voice the words out loud. I felt a wave of shame and embarrassment, like I had failed, but their reactions were nothing but supportive. They listened without judgment, offered comfort, and reassured me that I wasn't alone. Hearing their stories, their experiences with similar situations, made me realize that I'm not the only one who has gone through this. It's helped me feel less isolated, less like I'm some kind of anomaly. My sister, in particular, has been a pillar of strength. She's always been fiercely protective of me, and she didn't hold back her anger towards Sarah. She reminded me of my worth, of the kind of person I am, and of the kind of love I deserve. Talking to them also made me realize how much I had isolated myself during the last few months of the relationship. I had become so consumed by the drama and the uncertainty that I had neglected my friendships and my family. I've started to understand the extent of the emotional manipulation. I'm realizing how much she had eroded my self-esteem, how much she had made me doubt my own judgment. I'm starting to see the red flags that I ignored, the warning signs that I dismissed. I've decided to start therapy. I know I need professional help to process everything that has happened, to heal from the emotional trauma, and to learn how to avoid similar situations in the future. My therapist has already helped me identify some patterns in my behavior, some tendencies that might have contributed to the situation. I'm learning to set boundaries, to prioritize my own needs, and to recognize red flags in future relationships. I'm also focusing on self-care. I'm trying to eat healthy, exercise, and get enough sleep. I'm spending time with friends and family, doing things that bring me joy. I'm trying to reclaim my life. There are still moments of intense sadness and anger. I still have flashbacks and nightmares. But I'm also starting to feel a sense of hope. I'm starting to believe that I can heal, that I can move on, and that I can find happiness again. I'm sharing this update to let you all know that I'm taking steps to heal. I'm not going to let this experience define me. I'm going to learn from it, grow from it, and emerge stronger. I'm still grateful for all the support and advice I've received from Reddit. It's helped me through some of the darkest moments, and it's given me the strength to move forward. Thank you. Update 5 and final update. It's been a few weeks since my last update, and I wanted to share my progress. The journey hasn't been easy, but I'm slowly but surely rebuilding my life. The distance from Sarah has been crucial. I've maintained strict no contact, blocking her on all social media platforms and deleting her number. It's been tempting to reach out, to seek some kind of closure, but I know that would only set me back. I need to focus on myself. Therapy has been a lifeline. My therapist has helped me unpack the complex emotions I've been experiencing. the anger, the sadness, the guilt, and the confusion. We've explored the dynamics of the relationship and how I allowed myself to be manipulated. We've talked about my tendency to prioritize other people's needs over my own and how that made me vulnerable to being taken advantage of. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the importance of setting boundaries. I've always been a people pleaser, wanting to avoid conflict and keep everyone happy. But I've realized that this comes at a cost. I've learned to say no, to prioritize my own needs, and to recognize when someone is crossing a line. I've also learned to trust my gut instinct. Those nagging feelings of unease, those subtle red flags, they were there all along. I just chose to ignore them, to rationalize them away. I'm learning to listen to that inner voice, to trust my intuition. I've been focusing on self-care, which has been crucial for my emotional well-being. I've established a regular routine, healthy meals, consistent exercise, and adequate sleep. I've rediscovered old hobbies and found new ones. I've been spending time in nature, which has been incredibly grounding. Reconnecting with friends and family has been incredibly healing. They've been a constant source of support and encouragement. I've realized how much I had neglected those relationships during the last few months of the relationship. I'm making a conscious effort to prioritize those connections. The healing process isn't linear. There are still days when I feel overwhelmed by sadness or anger. There are still moments when I miss the person I thought Sarah was. But those moments are becoming less frequent and less intense. I'm starting to feel a sense of hope for the future. I'm realizing that this experience, while painful, has also been transformative. I've learned valuable lessons about myself, about relationships, and about what I deserve. I'm not going to rush into another relationship. I need time to heal, to rebuild my self-esteem, and to learn to trust again. I'm focusing on myself, on my personal growth, and on creating a fulfilling life on my own. I'm starting to feel excited about the future, about the possibilities that lie ahead. I'm confident that I will find someone who values me, who respects my boundaries, and who loves me for who I am. I want to thank everyone on Reddit who has offered their support and advice. Your words have been a lifeline during some of the darkest moments. You've helped me realize that I'm not alone, that my feelings are valid, and that I deserve better. I'm sharing this final update to let you all know that I'm doing okay. I'm on the path to healing, and I'm looking forward to a brighter future. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, and I'm determined to create a happy and fulfilling life for myself. Thank you all for listening, for your empathy, and for your support. It's meant the world to me. And if anyone is going through something similar, remember you are not alone, and you deserve a healthy, loving relationship.